Hey everyone, Denny here with Market Mondays, Coastal Loans, Coastal Wealth. Wanted to give you some information on what's happening in the US economy, what's happening in the Florida economy, and then finally in my city of Ocala, ending with what's the interest rate. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And here we go. You should be able to see that. I have an article up here, which is from the Wall Street Journal. It says Powell talks up progress on putting rate cuts back into view. Woo, woo, woo. All right, so everybody's been talking about rate cuts. We started back in 2022 with the Federal Reserve increasing interest rates because we've been in an inflationary environment. So they increase interest rates to slow the economy down so that way inflation can get under control and we don't get these crazy prices on food and energy and all these other things like housing and crazy and all that. So they've increased interest rates from 0 all the way to 5.5. In the 1970s, early I think it was 1980, 1981, interest rates went to 18%, 20%. So now they didn't want to have to do that. So they increased rates and they held it for a while. And everybody's been waiting to get them cut so people can buy houses at lower interest rates. They can buy cars at lower rates. Our economy moves a lot with debt, if you notice that. So anytime that interest rates go up, then that affects debt. So right now, interest rate cuts are back into use. So they increase, and now everybody's looking for them to cut. But they don't want to cut too fast. It's like a Goldilocks thing, right? Not too hot, not too cold. They want the economy to be just right. But it's starting to become just right. There's an article here from CNBC that says US economy added 206,000 jobs. It was slightly more than expected, as you can see here, but the unemployment rate rose to 4.1%. Why is that important? Well, because with the unemployment rate going up, that means that the economy is starting to slow down. And unfortunately, some of the people have lost their jobs because of the Fed putting the brakes on the economy. So that's actually a good sign for inflation that is getting under control. That means they can cut rates and hopefully the unemployment rate doesn't get too high. It can stay at a healthy level where people can still find work, but there's not so many job openings, which has been another problem that I can save for another day. So a few information from the article that said that most of the job creation was in the government, healthcare, social assistance, and construction. Business services, professional business services, and retail trade were the ones that lost jobs, those in those areas. Now, Fed officials did signal that they're not in a rush to cut rates, so they're waiting for the right timing, but they are seeing good signs like slowing wage growth, reduced pricing power of companies, and increased consumer sensitivity of price increases. So this actually goes together. So companies were increasing their prices to keep their profit margins the same, but consumers were paying those prices. But now consumers aren't paying them. Consumers are saying prices are too high. I'm going to cut back. I'm not going to buy those things. I'm going to start, instead of paying these prices at these high-end retailers, these high-end companies, I'm going to shop at lower, more affordable retailers or buy more affordable products. So that's actually forcing companies to put on the brakes on price increases. There's an expectation that inflation would continue to decline over the next year, and most officials expect 1 or 2 cuts this year. Now, what's the size of the cuts? Probably a quarter point, but it all is going to depend on what the economy continues to do. And we're going in the right direction. Now, let's go ahead and shift to Florida. And man, we have some good news in Florida. This is an article from Florida Trend by Jim Saunders, and it said something that's been happening in Florida, just to give you a little background, is after the pandemic, insurance rates have started to skyrocket. Flood insurance, insurance on the coast, insurance really everywhere. Some insurance on investment property that I have went up 50%, 100%. And so what we had to do, we had to make, certain decisions with insurance to find savings, see where we can cut back, increase deductibles, etc. Now, what's happening now is that the Florida legislature passed some laws to help insurance companies and reinsurers. So when you go out and get insurance, an insurance company, they don't keep all that risk in case there's a big catastrophe. They actually buy insurance. They buy something called reinsurance from reinsurance. So it's like insurance for insurance companies. It's crazy. But that's how the system works. And what happened is the reinsurers were either leaving the market or giving insurance companies these crazy rates. So what's happening now is the Florida legislature is actually funding, it's subsidizing, is what's happening. They're subsidizing some of this, which needed to be done to be able to increase the availability of reinsurers in the state of Florida. And that's keeping prices down or keeping prices steady. So this is, according to the article, it said that risk-adjusted rates in most programs remain stable or are reduced by up to 10%. So if you're renewing anytime after June the 1st, expect same pricing or possibly a 10% decrease on your home insurance. All right, so that's an exciting one. All right, and now lastly, let's go ahead and go to some local news on the Ocala market. And this is the fastest growing places in the US. This is May 22nd, US News and World Report. For 2025, it's been consistent this way. But what it's saying is that these are some of the top cities in the top 25 here in the United States. But look, Florida has like several in the top 10, right? I think it's, if you count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 in the top 10. So a lot of people moving to Florida. But then Ocala, Florida, where I'm at, Central Florida, Orlando, number 9, and then Daytona Beach, that's in the 4, 6, and 9. So Ocala, Florida, number 6 is where I'm at. Let's see if it takes me there. It said Ocala, Florida is, let's see, one of the top places. It says the median home price, this says 214,000. I checked on realtor.com, it's really 299,000. So I would disregard that. Median home price still under 300,000. A great price, affordable homes. It talks about green pastures, for horses and humans. Ocala is the horse capital of the world. I don't know if you knew that. But it also has some trained some race horses like the Secretary. I think the winner of the Kentucky Derby this year had trained in Ocala. But they also have some equestrian sporting here. We have an equestrian center. It's a really cool nature city. We have the forest, Ocala National Forest. We have springs. We have Rainbow Springs and Silver Springs National Park. And then we have a vibrant downtown that's a square. We have live music. And when it's not so hot in the summer, I mean, it's a great place to hang out, have an art walk, dinner, a lot of different things. So it's a nice family-oriented city and is growing a lot. And it's about an hour from Orlando and Tampa and Jacksonville. So really centrally located, bit of a logistics hub because we're also close to Georgia and to get out of the state, and then also Central Florida. Great place to live. So that's with Ocala. Now, in closing, let's go ahead and talk about interest rates. All right. So let's see here. We have, oh, I hope I didn't let the cat out of the bag. This is interest rates. We have, this is a scenario. So what I do with interest rates, just like you probably go on Google and just look and see what's happening with interest rates, right? What's the interest rate today? So I went on Google and I found the place and it said interest rates, so it was yesterday, and it said 30-year fix 6.625%. But then I looked at the 15-year fix and it was 6%, right? So then I said, well, what if I can go ahead and create a scenario with one of our main lenders? This is United Wholesale Mortgage, one of the largest lenders in the country. And what would the interest rate be? So I did purchase price 400,000, down payment 80,000. So he's putting 20% down. With loan amount would be 320. I put 800 credit score. Debt to income ratio less than 35%. 30-year term, fixed rate, no prepayment penalty. We actually are giving a 1/4 point discount for this loan amount. Could be lower if it's higher, but 25 basis points out of the rate. $3,000 in taxes, $1,500 a year in insurance. This will be your PITI, mortgage payment. This doesn't include HOA. 2,371. What's the rate? Well, the rate is 6.375%. All right, so if you're looking for something competitive, rates are in the low sixes, guys. Let's go ahead and let me help you buy your home, refinance, buy investment property, residential and commercial. Give me a ring. Information is on the description of my video or in my link. So with that, let's go ahead. We'll leave you for the next video. Take care and talk soon. Bye-bye.